Good evening, everybody. It's Rich, Reviews with Rich, back with another episode of Film Club. This week, we'll be talking about the classic, the 2016 classic, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So, I can't do this alone. I need some ragtag team of hustlers, of rebels, of my friends. I'm going to introduce you to them one by one. I've got Shane, 16 Figure Flicks. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
I've got Cam.
Killer Cam.
Man? Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me. And then we've got Leal when he sits down. Good man. Leal, how you doing, brother?
You know I got to put this up here.
Oh, of course you do. And I have a very special guest here as well. Yes. A leader of the Rogue Squadron, the Red Leader himself, Ben.
You know what? I knew it. I knew it. I was just waiting. But I knew it. I love it. Perfect.
I love it.
What a Here to drop bombs, y'all.
Perfect.
That looks deadly.
It does, doesn't it?
That was great, man.
Where did you get the helmet, man?
The helmet was someone hooked me up. A very good friend of mine, a man who has a very strong twirly ginger moustache. You may be sharing the screen with him right now. Yes, he hooked me up. This is something I've wanted for a while. Actually, I need to put together an actual outfit and not just wear a John Cena t-shirt back to front.
Love it.
It was my birthday gift to you, my friend, and I was really pleased that it's gone to a good home. And it fits your head, and it doesn't fit mine because I've got a massive head. So
I took the padding out.
Oh, did you? Okay, maybe it's not a small one. But thank you again, guys, for being here. I really appreciate it. So I've got some chat to just address. So if I'll just say hello to everybody. So we got Man Watt, yo, hey buddy. 6 Scale Padawan evening all, looking forward to the discussion. Katie Cujo, my wife, hello babe.
Hey.
There you go. Triple G, thank you again for the shout out at the end of your stream, buddy. Appreciate it. Empire Strikes Again. Hi all, can't wait for this and Andor tomorrow, absolutely. Hi everyone. And Strikes Again. You can always count on Ben, 100%. And we've got. Have you got it through today? Did you get it through, Shane?
Yeah, it's there.
Beautiful,
nice. Oh man,
I genuinely didn't think I'd be as impressed with it as I was. I just thought $300 Obi-Wan from New Hope, no brainer. And I thought, yeah, this would be cool. Just, man, really impressed by such a simple figure. The head sculpt, the robes, the contrast between the brown and the cream robes, the way it sits, just like really, really impressed by a relatively simple figure. Delighted, really happy.
Is the Alec Guinness spot on?
Yeah, I'm just really, really impressed by it. Like I thought it'd be good, like, you know, but I thought, you know, it's just an old dude in a cape, you know, but it's really, really, really impressive. Like,
that's amazing. Well, congratulations. We've got Passport Comics. Hail, long time no see, Ben and Peter. Good one. Thank you, Shane. To the chat, type your favorite Rogue One moment into the chat. Appreciate everybody being here. Of course, Triple G, obviously rocking the one that it's going to be the most popular moment, I think, in the chat there. But if everybody can subscribe to all the gentlemen on here and myself and this stream, we're going to be doing regular live streams like this. The numbers are creeping up a little bit, little by little for me. So 242 now. So I'm hoping to hit that 250 by the weekend. So that'd be really nice. So if everybody who's watching this, if you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, I've put all the links to all the gentlemen on here onto their channels as well. So if you can subscribe to them, I would very much appreciate it. So we also have Padawan. Is it true that Leal is giving away his Jyn Erso on this stream? No. Over his dead body. I've had it on good authority. He he's been buried with
Absolutely
Jyn Erso.
not. Absolutely not. Don't even exercise or entertain.
It's going to be
the thought.
2.0, man. You got to sell that before it gets 2.0. That's the way it is.
No way. It would
Jyn's
never
new Iron
happen.
Man.
Just for that, Padawan, I will not speak to you for the rest of the show.
Exactly, yes.
Just for the rest of the show.
Comics,
I'll speak to you
Yeah.
after the show, but not for the rest of the show. 6L Padawan.
But he's, I'm right in saying that you are being buried with Jyn. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, I am, bro.
Yes, that's what I thought. So.
I love this character. I love the actress. She is my, I'm allowed to have a crush, and she is my crush. So yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I have a number of them.
Be buried with her.
Yes. Yes.
That's where I draw the line.
Is the card laminated? No one, did anyone get that reference? No.
Yes, of course.
I got it.
It's laminated.
There's two reasons why it's laminated.
Oh God, that is savage.
You tuned into Reviews with Rich, everybody.
That's the level.
Rich's head is in the gutter. So I'll just go and say hello to a couple more people on chat, that people are dropping in, which is really nice. I appreciate it. Mark P with a badass thumbnail there. Sup, everyone. Sup, buddy. Do you think Jyn will make an appearance on Andor? I don't think so. Maybe because it's set 5 years before Rogue One, so maybe she's in the background or something like that. But she did sign to 2 pictures when she did sign her contract, so maybe she'll appear in some other media. But I don't think personally. What does everybody else think?
I don't think it'd be this season. It'll probably be an appearance in next season, more towards the end of that season. Which, with Andor, we're not going to get season 2 until 2024.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to take them 2 years because they start filming in shooting in November, principal photography and stuff like that. So it's going to take them 2 years
Wow.
To do it. So we won't see it until 2024, but I think it's possible, that we'll see K2 and her probably more towards, her mainly more towards the end. You know what I mean? Especially if we, at the end, we know, his objective at that point. So that's what I believe.
Because Saw Gerrera is quite a bit in Andor this for the first and second season. So I think obviously he did leave when she was 16 at one point, but I think obviously there'll be some training, maybe some points for that. So that'd be quite interesting. Yeah. So that'd be good. If she is, there'll be a 2.0. Yeah, there'll be a 2.0 or something. Filth, Triple G, would you expect?
Still not selling. I'm still not selling.
Hey, Calvin Williams, sup everyone. Thank you, Calvin. So I'll do a little introduction that I have prepared previously. So this is the first of a number of anthology spin-off films that Disney had in mind. So back in 2013, when they started announcing, they did the panel for like Force Awakens and a couple of those they had in mind, did it in the Hollywood Reporter, that they're going to do a number of spin-off movies as well as the main episodes. So the original idea was to do, one was going to be Rogue One and the other one was going to be a Boba Fett film. That was going to be directed by Josh Trank, who did Chronicle and the Fantastic Four, which obviously Fantastic Four was awful. But he was fired before he was announced. So he was in, they were going to bring him out at the same time as they brought out Gareth Edwards, who that was his third film, the guy who directed this. He did Godzilla and then Monsters before that. So it was quite a lot of pressure on him, and so much so we'll go into it later on, what happened and the effect it had on him. So this original idea came about from obviously the first couple of lines on the opening crawl from A New Hope. So John Knoll, who's creative director at ILM, pitched George Lucas a few years before the buyout at Disney, pitching a Mission Impossible / Saving Private Ryan movie based on the first few paragraphs. He got rejected. he just kept it to one side. So he'd worked with George Lucas quite a lot during the prequels and stuff like this. And it was really interesting, obviously a really good idea. So he then, when he was acquired, he then pitched it to Kathleen Kennedy, who was obviously the head of Lucasfilm, after it was bought by Disney. She signed it off straight away, and they announced it officially at the 2015 Star Wars Celebration. And this is a little video. You have to excuse the quality because this is what was filmed at Star Wars Celebration. It's quite an interesting one, so I'll just show you.
For more than 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the old Republic. Before the dark times, before the Empire.
So you can see from that, it was a very, because obviously it's gone from when he did Godzilla, that was the initial tease that they dropped, which was quite an intense teaser, really, with that, especially at the end, obviously the Rogue Squadrons and stuff being cut out by, obviously, maybe the Death Star or maybe being shot and stuff. But I just thought it was a really interesting little introduction to the audience. Were you there, Leal, at 2015
yes,
Celebration?
I was right in
I was
going to
ask you that.
when they
no
did that.
way.
When they did that,
Oh,
it went.
man.
The thing is, you have to hear the crowd. When they here's the thing, like, we didn't expect it. No one expected that. No, there weren't even rumors at that time. The rumor was only about a Boba Fett show. No one had any idea that there was a thought of a scenario or something or a property like Rogue One, or the idea of it.
Yeah.
When it was announced there and we heard it, you had to hear this cinematically there. When people heard Alec Guinness, the panel, I mean, everything erupted. You couldn't hear it like you should have. But as soon as that scene, that part came on, everybody lost it. And they lost it without even knowing what the fuck they were losing it for. You know what I mean? But it was just because we knew at that time we were getting more Star Wars content. And that's what was so amazing about it. So yeah, it was.
No, that's amazing. Incredible. So they did they previously did a similar tease for Boba Fett, which I don't have, but apparently it's out there, where it's him shooting out the Starlight Pit on his jetpack. Did you see that one? Because I don't think that was at Celebration, but they were going to do that. But Josh Trank basically lost it during the filming of Fantastic Four, and studio got involved and stuff like this, and he kicked off and pissed off a lot of people. So no one was going to get behind him for a long time, until he did a film with Tom Hardy the last couple of years, which apparently is no good, about Al Capone. So I just thought it was a really interesting story that he'd pitched this idea to George Lucas. George said, not right now, can't really do it. He was obviously stepping away from Star Wars anyway. And then Kathleen Kennedy obviously signed it off. As much as obviously Kathleen Kennedy does get some backlash from the fan community, she's done a hell of a lot of good generally across the board. She's done a fantastic amount of good. And one of the things, obviously, with the ending, because obviously when they pitched the idea, John Knoll and Gareth Edwards started pitching the idea of them dying at the end of the film. Spoiler alert. They didn't think it was going to happen. They didn't think it was going to get signed off by Disney because it's dark as anything as an ending, and it's just it's a fantastic one at that. But I just think that's really, really interesting as a way that they were going with this. They had a number of ideas where they were going to initially do an anthology spin-off film, then they were going to do a Skywalker episode the following year, and then vice versa. They're going to go in between. So the original idea was to do Rogue One first, then that was going to be followed up by The Last Jedi, and then originally it was going to be Boba Fett, but then that changed to Solo, and then they were going to do an Obi-Wan, and which obviously we ended up getting as a show, and they were going to do it like that. So every year there would always be something from Star Wars. Obviously this was before Disney Plus and all the shows and everything, but it's really interesting. But the problem was, because of what happened with The Last Jedi, and then 6 months later they released Solo, which was terrible timing. They should have, they should have delayed it a lot longer, maybe released it in December, which is obviously typical Star Wars time, and a really good one to make a lot of money during that period of time. But it's just really interesting that they released it then they did, and obviously it flopped because it was around the time of Infinity War and Deadpool and stuff like that. It's like you're going to get lost in it. But yeah, so that killed the spin-offs until obviously we've got the recent shows and stuff. So I just thought it was really interesting little facts there just to kind of fill you in on it. Some other things with the behind the scenes side I'm going to tell you guys about as well, which is just really interesting because when you watch the film, you think it's a masterpiece of a film, but there was a lot of drama behind the scenes. So Shane, what did you think to this? Going back. You're on mute.
I wasn't talking for the last few seconds. Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. It's just a bloody good film, and I think it's a great way of describing it. Mission Impossible meets Saving Private Ryan, for obvious reasons, with the Saving Private Ryan anyway. Yeah, I just remember watching it and remember thinking, this is the best Star Wars film in 30 years. Like that's what I was thinking. They really hit the balance right of making it look like it could fit in with the original trilogy, but yet, when things had to be spectacular looking, like, my God, some of the scenes with the Death Star creeping over just at the horizon like that. The AT-ATs, just fantastic. A good, well-written, well-acted, strong female character as well. I thought she was brilliant. I thought she nailed it. K2SO, I watched it again last night. I forgot how hilarious, as in like just real cynical sarcasm. It's just my sense of humor. It's just like cracked me up, like fully laugh out loud. Forgot how good a character K2SO is. Pretty sure he enabled me. But just a bloody good film. It's like, that's the thing. Like if something has a good story and good characters, good script and all that, it could be set in anything. It could be set in medieval times. It could be set in the future. It could be set in 5 minutes down the road. It's just but yeah, it's big fan of Rogue One. Like I've said, my Star Wars for me is original trilogy, Rogue One, and The Mandalorian. And I did like Kenobi, and I'm working my way very glacially slow through Clone Wars. And obviously there's aspects of the prequels that I love, but I just thought, real stamp for approval here for Rogue One for me, to be honest.
No, that's great to hear. It's I agree with you, everything you just said there. I'm exactly the same. I'm OT Rogue One and Mando. For me, it's that feel to it that, I mean, it's the best looking Star Wars film ever made. The special effects, the way it was designed, like you said, it very fitted in within like the old school 1970s feel. The technology obviously tied into A New Hope, but also as well the level of special effects were just absolutely spot on. The combination of the practical and the special effects. Some of the stuff when they were in space, whether the knocking down the shields and stuff, that was just absolutely beautiful. And what Gareth Edwards does amazingly well is scope. So the moment you see the Star Destroyer and then you see it enveloped with a shadow, because you see the Death Star and you see how big it is, you never really get a real glimpse or idea of how big that it is, and it's just amazing. Cam, what did you think? Just before
you continue on to Cam, like just with the prequels, I feel like you're really doing them dirty there. Like, I will never be able to watch the Duel of Fates and not have the little hairs on the back of my neck stand up. That is
the music as well.
Like, there's still a dozen things about the first 1, 2, and 3 about each of those films that I can pick out I love. But I think cohesively as a story and as a film, Rogue One just tips them personally. Like,
it 100% does. It 100% does. Cam, what did you think, brother?
It was fun, man. Honestly, it's a fun movie to go back and revisit. I've seen it about 3 or 4 times at this point now, and I just loved the cinematography angles of every shot, honestly. From Jyn Erso's home planet when she was a little girl in the beginning, to the beach shots where they're fighting. It honestly, it's what I wished 1 and 2 looks like. episode 1 and 2 actually looked like when it was actually shot the first time.
Yeah.
But I think it was a deeper dive into the rebels, you know, just being able to kind of humanize the whole struggle and the idea of what they really wanted at the end of the day. Like we kind of got the story when you know, we got the New Hope, you know, and the Empire Strikes Back. Like we kind of understood, but this kind of showed you that everyday people were in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was like, you know, there's no lightsabers, there's no force on a few people, but you know, it was just like the normal Joe is out there fighting for the struggle. You know, which I liked about it, which I thought was cool.
I agree. I think that's one of the things you don't really see in the originals, the effect of the Empire on the normal people. And I think being affected like that, I think it's a really good point. I think it's one of the things that they're doing a lot more with Andor, the show. They're spanning it over. Am I right in this, Leal? Is it 12 years they're doing it over? Or is it 5 years they're doing it over? I can't quite remember.
Well, wait
12.
a minute. It's
12 episodes the first
12
season.
episodes the first season, and
5 years is the
but 5 years is the space in between of you know what I mean. But you know, they're doing it from his, you know, basically from earlier stages up until his bout with the rebellion. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. The reviews already are really amazing so far. So I'm apparently it's a bit of a slow burn. That's why they've released the first 3 episodes. Well, they'll release them tomorrow. But it's gonna be really, really amazing. Ben, what did you think to this?
This film's perfect. Like it's perfect. You know, it's funny, isn't it? Like I think with Star Wars, the original trilogy holds so much kind of emotional connection and nostalgia for people. But I think if I were to, and it's very hard for me to do as a Star Wars fanatic, but if you were trying to sort of look at it, you know, from an outside eye, Rogue One is for me the best film.
Yes.
Does it make that my favorite film? No, absolutely not, because of obviously the nostalgia and the connection with the original trilogy. But I do think on paper, this is the best film. Like the script is incredible. The acting performances are, you know, like the challenge to get audiences to invest in characters that you know are going to die, you know, by the end of the film. Like, and yet within that small time period, you are fully invested, and to the point where you're moved upon their passings, their sacrifices. Like that is incredible, and that's credit to the amazing script and the brilliant performances that go with it. I think
100%.
everything feels real in this. Like the way it's shot, you know, the way the sets were built, the other than Tarkin and kind of Leia aside, the special effects I think have aged beautifully, and everything kind of still feels real and authentic. Even watching it now, I was like, God, this looks great.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, so all of that stuff is great. It fully kind of gives you that, like, you know, 70s kind of, like it feels like it was filmed in the 70s. And I know that they got people to grow out sideburns and things like that, but like everything just feels like it slots perfectly into that kind of original trilogy world. There's enough kind of Easter eggs and kind of, you know, like a couple of creatures like Bistan and Peo and stuff like dropped in that remind you that yes, this is Star Wars, but like everything just feels so kind of authentic. And yeah, it's just it's so moving. The villain is amazing, and then of course like the Vader is just like the best cherry on top that I think there's ever been in a film, because it would be great without that. And then you get that final scene and it's just like, stop it, you're spoiling me. So yeah, like this is up there, man. This is really
I agree.
up there for me. Like
I agree.
Watching it back again, like, you know, I've watched it a lot, but like watching it again recently, I was just like, man, this is pushing to be my favorite Star Wars film. Like, but again, I think it's because of its age and stuff. Like, I'm never going to have that nostalgia with it, but it almost feels nostalgic watching it because of how much it fits into that original trilogy. So yeah, just a great choice. A terrible choice, actually, for this film, because we're all just going to gush about this film for the next hour or so.
Well, yeah, maybe so. Maybe a couple of gripes.
I swear to God, Rich, if you have any criticisms, I will.
To be honest, I kind of want to leave and just go watch it now.
I completely agree with you. What you said there, Ben. I think it's perfect in a lot of ways. I think the first third maybe had been reworked quite a lot. There's some stuff behind the scenes which I'll talk to you about in a bit. But it is a fantastic film. I don't know why Gareth Edwards has not been lauded as highly as a lot of other people who have made properties recently within Star Wars. I think he should be more so than maybe others have been, and maybe he because he took a bit of a step back for a while, because he literally did Monsters, his own film that he made himself. He wrote it, directed it, he did the visual effects himself. It's from England, and he then got pitched to do Godzilla, and as Godzilla was due to come out, Lucasfilm approached him and said, "Do you want to do this?" So he came in. He was like, "I don't want to do this. I've only just chuffing done a film. I'm absolutely knackered. I don't want to do another one." And then they pitched him it, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to do it." And they loved it and signed him there and then. So there was a lot of burnout later on during this film, again, which I'll discuss later. But I love it. I think it holds up in every way. I think it's the special effects. Like I keep saying, the special effects are better now than they were in Rise of Skywalker in a lot of the new trilogy. I truly believe that, and I don't know whether it's because it's more of a worn-in aesthetic that maybe made it a bit more looking authentic than anything else. But I absolutely loved it. Leal, I know you're going to love this. You love this film, but tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, so just the initial idea, like I said, sitting at Celebration, and at the time hearing the audience go crazy, over this, just the sheer idea at that point. We had no idea what we were getting into. But one of the things that kind of stuck out to me is when they were doing the interview with the cast, and the one person that they basically went to, at the time, when they, kind of talked about it, it was right after Garrett, said something, or he, gave a spill. They actually went to I keep forgetting his name, Forrest Whitaker. And the one thing he said was, think about the Magnificent Seven in space. And I was like, sold. Because the Magnificent Seven is one of my favorite Western films of all time. Not just the old version, but even the new version. I loved it. But I'm a fan of the Magnificent Seven. You bring, just a band of individuals together for one common cause, and they know that, at the end of the story, there's no survival, but they just do it just because it's for the better good at that point. And this is where that journey took me. When they basically, unveiled like the synopsis of it, I was all in. The scope of it, I was all in. Seeing the film for the very first time on screen, you don't know what you're going to get. Like, with Star Wars, we know how Star Wars fans can be. We know how basically, really, really hypercritical about everything, from every aspect, of the word. But once that film hit, and what I mean it hit, sitting in that theater watching it, I immediately went back and I was like, okay, when you're looking at a film, the first thing you want to actually attach it to, or the first thing that kind of, attaches itself to you, is tone. The tone of the film. Does it basically match the aesthetics of what we actually saw in A New Hope, what we saw in Empire? Does it feel like a Star Wars film? It's crazy to me how the hype was Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, but and Solo. But out of all of those films, the only film that tonally brought it together for me was this one. This was tonally, and it was the underdog at that time. But when you think about the releases for that period, everyone talks about Rogue One. Rogue One will always be at the top of the barrel. So I was like, damn, love this film. Love everything we actually got it. I attached myself to the characters, mainly Jyn Erso, because I love that character. Felicity Jones, chef's kiss. I attached myself to that character. But man, like literally. And then the icing on the cake, the very end, you didn't know. All right, there was whispers. And we saw Vader. So we did see Vader, but I thought that was it.
Yeah.
That last fucking scene, like literally, my daughter was sitting next to me. My oldest was sitting next to me watching this film. Bro, when that scene came on, she was the very first one in the entire theater to stand up and give it an applaud. Like, no, I had never heard. I swear to God, she was the first person to stand up. After that, people were like up on their feet, popcorn's tossed, everything. People were going nuts over this film. And that's what it's supposed to do. That's basically what his film's job is to do, is to give you that level of excitement, take you on a journey, have you gravitate yourself, you connect yourself to the character's journey. It's a hero's journey, but at the same time with like a really poetic, tragic ending. It was incredible. How many times and how many people can say that they basically sniffled and was butthurt? Literally almost in tears when a droid dies in a film. Like literally. When he K2S, bro, all he said was climb. And when he said that, bro, my daughter was sniffing because she was like, she attached herself to that droid. Alan Tudyk played that part to a T. I cannot imagine anybody else playing that role. Literally,
it's amazing. So good.
Amazing,
and it looked so real. It looked so real.
So real.
I can't believe how good that looked. It didn't look CGI in any way, shape, or form.
At all. And it was practical setting. Atmosphere. Everything felt like a Star Wars film. To the point that after watching it, now mind you, when I tell you I've watched this film over 100 times, I'm not playing. Really? I watch it almost every week or sometimes twice a week. As a matter of fact, it's on right now. I'm watching it right now. And I'm telling you, I do. I watch it every week. So that's basically amazing. With this film, bro, I had to really think. I was like, okay, where do I place it? And I told somebody last week, it's my top 3. So when I say that my top 3 films, there is Empire, New Hope, and Rogue One. I had to actually move Jedi out of that space because of what I feel. Now, mind you, top 5 Jedi is going to be there, but Rogue One is that film that connects itself so well, and it puts you in that era of Star Wars to the point where these were brand new characters that we hadn't actually connected to, but you love them. And and the thing is, that's why I'm so excited about Andor, because I am excited about not only to, see Cassian's story, but Mon Mothma. We got a chance to see her story. Man, this film is brilliant. Padawan, this figure will never leave my house. So I just wanted to point that out to you. It would never leave my sight. No one will touch it but me. So definitely. So I just wanted to put that out there. But yes, this film, chef's kiss all the way through. I love it. And it was no other feel like it. Like when you're watching this, you're in that world, plain and simple.
No, I 100% agree. That obviously Mon Mothma is the same actress because she was on a deleted scene for episode 3. So she was in episode 3, but they obviously cut her scene and they brought her back for this. And obviously then she's in Rogue One, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't know that, and obviously she's in Andor. Sorry. Triple G says, big respect to Ben's outfit, by the way, rocking that pilot costume. Force choke that like button. Tully, thank you very much. Am I saying Tully or Tully?
I would say Tully. It might be Tully. I always say Tully.
I think it's Tully. He spelled it out for me one chat there.
Yeah. Oh well, Tully, thank you. The battle scenes, the story. I knew they were going to die at the end. I didn't know they were going to die at the end. I genuinely didn't know they were going to die. I knew maybe one or two.
K2's not dead. K2's not dead.
It got leaked.
It can't be.
It got leaked by one of the cast members on the panel. Yeah.
Because that was Baze, the guy who plays Baze.
Yeah,
he said it after Tudyk dies. Yeah. Then I made something heroic, you think he said. And Alan Tudyk was like that in the panel.
Everybody was like, here we go.
What you didn't see, Rich, is that K2 actually uploaded his personality onto a chip, a small chip, and that chip's still out there in the galaxy. So K2
because he can survive in space. He said
he can come back as a toaster.
Yes, please. Sarcastic.
They can definitely bring him back. Hell, if they're talking about they're bringing back IG-11 for season 3 of Mando, then they could bring. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Darth Maul can come back, any fucker can.
You know what? I wish we'd have seen that confrontation instead of it being in Rebels, in being in the actual Obi-Wan show. I think that would have been amazing to see him versus Darth Maul. Would have been just amazing. So everyone's saying hello to each other, which is really nice. Is this a spoiler review? Yeah. Haven't you seen it? Sorry if that's the case. Thanks, joining. 30 people. I love those odds. I feel you there. Shed a tear of that droid. Yeah. Everyone's going on. It's brilliant. Rogue One and Mandalorian both introduce new characters, and maybe there's a rest of the series.
Cam cried. He's not. He's just trying to act like he's strong. But I know Cam cried.
Ain't cry.
K2 toast. Renz, by the way, thank you very much for waking up early.
Not all heroes wear capes, folks.
That is amazing. So I've got a couple of So I was going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes footage, which I really like this clip, which I put together / sliced myself and stuff. But I'll just show you because it just shows how epic.
Yourself. Nice.
I'll show you. You see.
I mean, this is really where a film crew like this really comes into their own. That kid, when you were 4 years old, grew up with Star Wars figures. It's a bit like just being that kid again. You're sort of going like, arr, arr, arr.
How badass is that? How badass is that?
The reaction when he gets into the cockpit, like it's just so. That makes my heart.
Yeah. He was in the Jupiter. Is it Jupiter Ascending? The TV show. Do you ever watch that? Jupiter it was on.
I never saw that.
What show?
The fantasy thing with
the guy with the cash. Yes. No, it was the Mark Miller based on the comic called Jupiter
that was awful. Yeah,
Rising.
one episode.
Yeah, he was the brother in that, which I don't even think he was that bad. But anyway, he's in that. He's like
troopers in the
war.
Yeah, bro. This was basically one of the first films that we saw that it really expanded the universe in a sense that we got new troopers. Never seen before. It was the first film that it's like we knew we were going to see stormtroopers, but when you start seeing shore troopers, death troopers, tank assault commanders, I'm like, get the fuck really? Like literally, amazing, bro.
Just stunning. They did this thing when they were filming it called Indie Hour, where they did some absolutely primo shots of the stormtroopers walking through the water, and this like on bottom of this banner you can see it. So there was a shot that they did, and they did it for every hour, every day for an hour, and they just did it where they just did some really amazing shots. And marketing took those and put a lot of them in the trailers, including one of them which I think they should have kept in the film and not shown it in the trailers, which was the TIE fighter on the do you guys remember that shot where Jyn's running down the platform to reset the radar? I should have put it in this actually. And then there's a TIE fighter that just shoots up in front of her, and it's an amazing shot, and I think they should have just kept that in the film and maybe not put it in the trailer. But it's just unbelievably fantastic. So what I was implying earlier was telling you about a little bit earlier was with the troubles that were happening behind the scenes. So Gareth Edwards submitted a rough cut of the film to Disney and Lucasfilm as well, and they rejected it. And basically they said it's a bit long-winded, you need to go and kind of beef out this, you need to stop focusing on this, etc., etc. So he went to sorry, I've written it down. I've been thinking about it all day and I forgot about his name already. Tony Gilroy, Oscar
Gilroy,
winning, screenwriter. He did Michael Clayton. He won an Oscar for that. Director for that, and he did a lot of rewrites and stuff for the Bourne trilogy as well. And he saved a lot of that. And he also did a lot of work with Godzilla. So Edwards brought him in to help him with the script. So he did the same for this because he was getting burnt out, and because he'd gone from, it's only his third film and you're doing one of the biggest properties ever. And he had Tony Gilroy come in and act as second unit director, which by the sound of it, he did a lot more than that, but he helped rewrite a lot of the film. So he included stuff like Jyn's introduction, Ando's introduction, Cassian Ando's introduction, Bodhi's introduction as well. The loads of plot about Saw Gerrera, that was cut as well. And the Scarif bit, so the thing on the third act, you might have seen in the trailers, there were moments where they were running down a beach with the transmission tape in their hand, and the ATST and ATA were focusing on them, but that was cut because basically instead of having the one tower, which it ended up being, they had two. They had one to get the data, and then another one they had to run to the other side of the beach to then transmit that information up above into space, kind of into the rebels. He came in, Tony Gilroy, and reshot apparently 40% of the film. So they reshot a lot of it, and they did a lot to really beef it up, and obviously to make it a lot better, because obviously it's one hell of a picture. But I just wanted to kind of because a lot of people on the internet, people like myself and stuff, were very aware of it at the time, that there were all this stuff happening and the reshoots and things like that. There were rumors that Gareth Edwards was fired, but he stayed on and they worked together. Not like what happened with the Lord and Miller on the Solo films, where they literally got replaced. So there was a lot of worry about that in the production, and it went up to, I think it was like 220 million as a budget, which is one of the most expensive films ever made at the time. So there was a big gamble on this. It made over $1 billion, so they did really well. And obviously, it was a gamble that they paid off. But I just thought it was really interesting, those little things like that, to kind of a lot there. So I'm just going to show you some little pictures here that I put together, and then just to kind of like talk about if there's any characters that stand out.
I remember when this picture was released. I remember just studying it, but also just being like, I know nothing about these people. I know it was so intriguing at the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, stand out.
I remember seeing Donnie. Oh my god.
Donnie Yen. I mean, he's my favorite in this film.
Can you go back? Just go back.
Yes, sir.
A little bit. Yeah, right there. There we go. Splash. No, I'm just saying, like, so check it out. No, but literally when I saw Donnie Yen, it was just because again, we're talking about Donnie Yen, bro. And I'm like, I followed his career, Ip Man, everything he's actually done. And it was like, when you tell me that you're getting a Donnie Yen in a Star Wars film, the first thing you think about is, okay, if you're making him a character on the light side, is he a Jedi? Just to know he was basically one of the believers, followers of the will, guardians of the will. I was like, okay, he doesn't have to be a Jedi, but he's a follower of the will, so he is force sensitive. Yeah. So of course, again, that was a bonus for me. And he was a blind character. He played it so well.
Level of acting, he was so likable. It was his idea to be blind,
Oh my God, he played it so well, and it was well done. Again, it was so enticing, his relationship between him and Baze, their friendship, their kinship, just his belief that everything could happen was definitely amazing, bro.
His attitude, his belief, obviously, in the Force and everything. I loved his performance. I am looking forward to see what Diego Luna does with Andor. I think his you can tell with the reshoots his hair length, it changes quite a bit throughout the film. But his performance is good, and you can believe him as a bit of a person who's actually getting involved and really making those difficult decisions during the rebellion and doing what he has to do for the greater good. But I think his performance was good in this. I think he's going to absolutely, because he's a fantastic actor, is it?
Yes, he is.
He's amazing in Narco.
Oh, we lost you, Rich.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Rich?
We lost our host.
No.
Communication disruptions can only mean
Yeah,
one
the
thing.
bloody Empire, guys.
Empire
So-
shutting us down.
So Diego Luna looks like my partner at the studio, Derek. We work together. He looks just like him, bro.
That's crazy.
Splitting image of Diego Luna, bro.
Derek
You
Luna.
always tell me that.
There we go.
Yeah.
If I go out again, thank you for that, to letting me know. If I do go out, let me know, because I can just go into my personal hotspot. So you can hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
we hear you.
Yeah.
We got you. We got you back.
A lot of pressure.
Don't worry.
I don't know what happens if it goes down. Thank you very much. But
We're all going to drop off
obviously-
one by one, like Rogue One. Like,
Yeah.
we're all going to have our death.
Slowly
Sure,
but
it
surely.
first. Yeah. Is there any particular character that everyone loved in particular that they really got behind, that really saw themselves in, or that K2
Krennic.
sassy Krennic?
Krennic.
Yeah, Krennic.
Yeah, my man. I watched Bloodline, and like, it's such a depressing TV show. I think I stuck with it for first 2 seasons. I don't think it's particularly good either, but he was brilliant in it. Like, I know a lot of people
Ben
loved
Mendelsohn,
Bloodline.
yeah.
Ben
Ben
Mendelsohn. He was just plays a character, Danny. I'm not sure if you've seen Bloodline, but
I started
He's-
watching it. Yeah.
he's really good in it. He's just like,
Oh, is
he's troubled, like, and he was a very believable villain in this as well.
Yeah.
Even,
Definitely.
Even just that opportunity for to give one of those classic Vader lines, be careful not to choke on your aspirations. It's like,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good.
He's so his relationship with Galen Erso is covered quite a bit in. By the way, Mads Mikkelsen's one of my favorite actors. I think he's just an amazing actor. But there's a book called Catalyst. I don't know if anyone's read, which was a tie-in book novelization before this came out, and it's all about their relationship, which is really good because Galen Erso was used by Orson to really use the kyber crystals for energy. That's what the idea was, and then they ended up changing it into a weapon. And so it's a really interesting story. If you haven't got a chance to read,
Do you know
it
where
is
that's
canon, I
from?
believe.
Do you know where
Go
that's from? The Manhattan
Go on.
Project. I think
Oh,
that's
of
from the
course.
Manhattan Project. They were
Yeah,
eventually
yeah.
they were working on nuclear and a fission or something like this, but they eventually just turned it into the atomic bomb. I'm just speculating, but I imagine that's an influence.
Yeah,
for
no,
that.
you're
That's what
probably
happened.
right. What with Operation Paperclip? Is that right?
I can't remember. It
Operation
sounds familiar, but I
Paperclip,
can't say if I've seen it.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip. They've got a lot of former Nazi scientists and stuff, and they brought them over to the US to help them with
Right.
Manhattan Project. So yeah,
Mm.
sorry, a bit of a turn on that one, but yeah, that's
right.
what they did. No, it's really good. Yeah, no, it's I think the cast in this is just fantastic. I think it's one of the best cast and put together films in Star Wars. I think the obviously the different age groups as well and ethnicities easy for me to say, but kind of like it's just amazing to see that. And I think like I said, with Orson it was Krennic and their friendship, that was a friendship once before, it's really interesting, and that kind of really comes through in their introduction, which I think is really great in the film. What does everyone think to Tarkin?
Well, you know what? For what it was, bro, I didn't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people were, that the CGI stuck out. I mean, just to have a Tarkin on screen again, I was just happy about that. Like, I didn't really care about it because the thing is, it was, at that time, brand new technology that they were still exploring. So it wasn't going to be 100% perfect. You know what I mean? So I kind of went into it believing or knowing, well, number one, no one knew at the time, like you would actually see that on screen. And when you see it on screen, it was like, oh, wow. I mean, the inflection, his tone, everything about the character, how he played it was spot on. You know what I mean? So again, I had no expectations at that point. You know what I mean? I just knew that we were going to get amazing performance. And you know, the CGI, I wasn't in any sense of the word, you know, upset about. Could it have been better? Yes. I mean, now that we actually have, you know, the deep fake technology, we know that they could have went back.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, we're talking about Lucasfilm. We're talking about even George Lucas's influence. He might be like, well, can't you go back and redo that and just like re-enhance and add this effect to it just to kind of make it better? They can do it. They have the technology.
Disney Plus have been doing that on.
Yeah, they have, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even did with like Love and Thunder as well. They changed one of
something to do with a head or something.
Yeah, it's just really random how they've changed a couple of things.
So they can do that. That's something that they can do.
I remember the time when this came out. When he turned around, that took my breath away.
Yeah,
and as Lael said, like obviously now we compare it to the Luke Skywalker deep fake and stuff, and it just doesn't compare. You know, there's a lot of difference there. But at the time, it really, my mind was kind of blown by it, and I think credit to Guy Henry for his performance in the voice and the mannerisms and everything, like, because I really think he embodied him very, very well.
It's very impressive.
I saw behind the scenes.
It's very impressive
doing it. Yeah, I saw behind the scenes of him doing it, and you could tell so much pressure was on his shoulders, and he was like, I'm trying to get it right, and he did an amazing job. I think sometimes because of how it was so differently lit in the film compared to A New Hope, the lighting is very different, a lot more moody in Rogue One, in the Death Star. I think obviously that is an element to it as well. But sorry, Shane, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What were you going to say, buddy?
No, it's grand. It's fine. If like if it wasn't for things like Tarkin and Leia in this, we might not have that beautiful Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett. That was just remarkable. Like,
that really was.
I even thought the Mandalorian, the last episode of the season, was pretty good as well, and that got some slack, but it's definitely significantly better in the Book of Boba Fett. I was just like, how good can you be? I mean, like, if you look at Infinity War and Endgame, Thanos just looks as real as I think you're going to get, but your mind automatically goes, you forgive it a bit because you're like, that's a made-up character, that species doesn't exist. But when it's a human, we are naturally more critical. I just think even I was watching last night, and Megan, my girlfriend, kind of looked at it and she was like, "What? That's not real." But like for the first few minutes, she was kind of half paying attention. She just assumed it was him. You know,
same thing. Katie did the same thing. She was half watching it as well,
and when she doesn't move too much, it looks better.
Yes, I agree. Well, Peter Cushing, by that point, had been dead for nearly 30 years, so they his. A lot of his molds and the scan that they did for Top Secret, I think it was a film that he was in. So from a long time ago, they used that mold and that sculpt and everything on. I'm talking like it's a hot toy, but his head sculpt. But so they did.
Applications were a bit soft.
We'll be talking about hot toys in a bit.
He needs a 2.0.
Yeah, he does need a 2.0. It's a grail. But I am going to show you the best scene, in my opinion, in the whole film, which apparently was literally put together a month before the film was due to be released. That scene is this. It's the best. It's the best. I love it so much.
I've got an erection.
Just give them the plans, lads. Just give
That
them
was
the
the
plans.
best film. That was the best scene. I told you, my daughter seen that on screen, and she lost her mind. You know what I mean? It was just one of those moments where you didn't see it coming. You know what I mean?
No.
And when it was just like, wow, okay, they are not playing around with this scene at all. And it was that scene that followed into the next scene that tied everything together. You know, you knew basically if you watched that back to back with New Hope, you were like, wow, okay, this is the beginning to what we get a chance to see. And it was so well done. And the lighting and just the sheer terror of seeing Vader, in that hallway scene, you know what I mean, with nothing but his blade. I was like, yo, wait a minute, what? Like literally, like I was like in the theater, like, yo, run that back. But I was like, they couldn't do it. But yo, it was again, simply amazing work. And it was a nice fitting ending to that scene. And the thing is, it was crazy because the scene before that, when the rebellion was trying to make their escape, and then you actually see all the ships come out of hyperspace and ships crashing into it. It was like literally like it was like, wow, like we are really, really seeing, and they exactly a straight up, and that was a war. A
mixed emotions
done.
Like Ben's having a moment's silence.
Yeah.
Leia's got the biggest smile in his face. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It's the hope that Admiral Radis, is it Radish or Radis?
Radis.
It's like, okay, let's go home, and it's just like, no, you ain't going anywhere, pal.
No.
He,
the guy who plays Radis did a lot of the voices for Rebels and Clone Wars. Apparently, he did Obi-Wan as well. Apparently, yeah. So I don't know if you ever listened to Steele Saunders. It was he's got his own podcast. He's massively into Star Wars, and he was actually in Obi-Wan, and he gets to interview a lot of people within Star Wars. And it's a good podcast and stuff. So that's always worth listening to. But he had Admiral Radis on, and he based it on Winston Churchill, his character. So it was like this when he was like that when he was talking.
We will fight them on the beaches of Scarif.
Yeah, but is there anything else stand out to anybody else? I've got some Rogue One hot toys talk in a minute.
I don't want to say it. I was going to say, the Rebels uniforms make sense. Okay. But the Stormtrooper uniforms don't make sense anymore. Because it's like those blasters going through it, right? I got this heavy gear on. I'm sweating for nothing now. My eyeballs are in the center. I can't see. You know what? I'm just cut me out.
Even some blind dude with a stick.
I'm like, yes,
I know.
The stick is whooping
the armor. Doesn't even take down.
There's some serious inconsistencies with armors, but one thing's for sure: we understand why they can't hit anything.
Yep,
you can't see anything out through the helmet.
You know what though? Rewatching that Darth Vader scene, like I think that's the power of the scene is that everyone is the rebels all have a human face, and that face shows pure terror, and you almost invest individually into those men. You really buy into that kind of horror. Whereas we're so used to seeing Jedi, chop down either droids or people in helmets that you can't see. It immediately makes it more horrific. The idea of this guy with a bloody laser sword, like chopping down.
Well, it was shot like a horror film. It was the way that scene was just amazing, and the moment, the brutality, the fact that he lifts somebody up behind on the ceiling, and then he just swipes him in half as he's on the ceiling. So he's walking down, and he just goes like that behind him. And he just takes like stuff.
Can you imagine being that guy? Amazing. Like he's up in the air thinking, all right, maybe he passed me up. He comes back and gets you like,
nope.
Yeah. I didn't make it.
Nah.
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah.
First of all, like I said, I mean, I'm just that type of person that reacts a certain way. I'm gonna react off of anything. And if you see basically a red lightsaber light up, it's not going to be a good day, and you're going up against the Jedi no matter what you try to do. So I'm just gonna be like, all right, look, y'all can shoot. I'm just gonna go. Give me whatever I need. I'll go deliver it. Y'all just go ahead and shoot because I'm not standing here. I'm just not going to do it. I know I'm not going to survive this. I'm not going to try to be a hero. I want to be a survivor at that time. Literally, fallen comrades. I'm sorry. I will mourn you later. I will pour out some blue milk. Exactly.
It's like when you see people running and you like, hey, why we running?
Exactly. That's me.
Everybody start running.
I'll pour out some blue milk from my homies once I'm out. You know what I mean? And just leave it at that. But I'm not standing there watching Vader mow everybody down, knowing that I'm going to be the next victim. It's not going to happen to me. But it was a beautiful thing to see. Plain and simple.
It was beautiful. It was amazing to see that, because obviously at one point we weren't going to see Vader for at all, probably, because obviously with the Obi-Wan show coming up, we didn't know that was going to come out or anything. That would have been our last exposure to Vader, as in seeing it at the cinema and stuff like that, and just seeing him so brutal that we hadn't really seen in the films that much, if at all, to be honest. But to see him like that was just amazing. And obviously he's in the comics of Vader Down, where he's obviously an absolute badass in that. Leal, and I know you have to leave in a moment, so I will quickly share this because it is true to our hearts and yours especially.
Definitely.
It's what started you off into collecting itself. That was Jyn Erso.
Well,
which one was it? This one or the disguised one?
Well. Okay, so Kylo Ren was my very first Hot Toys figure.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Right. Yeah, it was my very first Hot Toy figure. But when this movie dropped, and after seeing it, and then when they released the actual figure, I was like, yeah, I gotta have it. So they dropped, of course, the regular version first. The disguise was an exclusive at that time. But I already knew I wanted it, so I got it. And the thing is, it's like all of us, you never know how a figure is going to look until you see it in person. And seeing it in person, like I know people, at first when you saw the original head sculpt, like the head sculpt on a prototype looks amazing, but even seeing her in person, it's like aesthetically it looks great. I got the deluxe version, all the accessories that came with it.
Wow.
And I was just amazed with her character on screen and how well she played it. Again, she's a beautiful actress, and she has such presence. So I was like, I'm all in. But yeah, when I got it, it's just a sad point to me because, like I said, you got both of them. I got Chirrut Imwe, I got K2SO, but they never released Baze. They gave us Vader. They gave us
put the tease out. Look at that.
Exactly. Look at that, and look how good it looks. You've seen it at most cons and everything, but you never got a chance to get your hands on that figure.
That's like the whole bloody.
He's there.
Like just there. So I'm like, come on, man. Like y'all serious? But again, it's just one of those situations where I'm happy for what I got. Hopefully, with the resurgence, and the thing is, it's not too late with the resurgence of Andor. Who knows? They might go back and dip in the well and say, you know what? Let's just give them Baze. Let's give them Baze.
When does it turn like 10 years old or something? Because then we might get anniversary ones. Maybe.
In 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
The way they're dropping things, it's like, you don't know. Like, you never know what's going to come.
They released the tank. This one on the right, the Tank Trooper, last year, and that was from Rogue One. Is it Tank Trooper Commander?
And the squad leader.
And the squad leader. So it's kind of like, there's everything still obviously a possibility. I just thought I'd do this just because I haven't got any of these. I almost bought a Chirrut at one point, but the condition wasn't great. I really regretted not getting it because I really like his character a lot. And I think the base is awesome and his outfit's amazing. So that on his forearm, what is that? Is that some Stormtrooper armor, Leal? Do you know that?
No, so it looks like more so like a communication / like if you even look at it and see it up close. I don't know if it's.
Let's have a look. I've got the visual guide right here.
You got it? You got it for real?
Let's have a look.
Let's go. Yeah. What is it, bro? What is it?
Let me take this down then.
Story time.
Hold on. Let me see. Hello, children. This is the story of the death.
It doesn't end well.
No. Echo box transmitter assists in situational awareness. That's not what I wanted. It doesn't say. Oh, he's got a Jeddah pendant with the Rebel Alliance sort of logo. Very good.
Apparently, he can hear the hum of the kyber crystal. That's why he when Jyn had one on a he heard her before he actually saw. Obviously, he didn't see it because obviously he was blind. But I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
And he's got one in his staff as well. He's got a bit of a kyber crystal in his staff. So that's why, when he went to go and throw it, he catches it and stuff. I think it's great. Yeah. But listen, I mean, I just really appreciate you guys dropping by today. Layal, I know you've got to go. Yep. So you going to tell me what's going on with your channel this week?
This week, tomorrow, we're going to actually have Say What. The title of it is Way Back When, Collecting Before Streaming Platforms. So basically how that's changed. And the reason why I say that is because I firmly believe that most of the delays that we're seeing right now and why we're seeing these delays is due to the simple fact that we have an influx of Disney properties, platforms like, when it comes to like Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Netflix. Everything that we have here is pushing the button towards production on different, product that they want to maximize on. And because of that, it's like they're busy. Like there's basically, it's not as busy. Like pretty much before we got these platforms, all we had was films. And it was easy to kind of just, centered around films because you had spacing in between. It was good. Now it's like everything's coming all at once. It's just like, just like a whole big mess. So it's like everything before then was cool, but now that we're seeing these delays, a lot of it has to do with these streaming properties and what we're dealing with and just the production flow of that, that they're trying to adhere to, because again, we know Disney has their knees on everybody's back when it comes to that. So again, that's what tomorrow's show is about.
That sounds really interesting because obviously it's delayed because the production and the amount of the backlog that's there is also affecting CGI and the effects houses and stuff, and that's why a lot of things are being pushed back due to that as well. So that's really interesting. Obviously, a lot of things are suffering.
So we're definitely going to have a talk about that. Exactly. And besides that, we have that. We have Uncivilized Scoundrels, of course, on Thursday on Mario's channel. We have Figure Flex Friday, and then of course Collectors Lounge on Sunday, and then Comic Book Talk with Friends on Monday. So that's pretty. And I'll be on Dante's show tonight, so stay tuned for that. So that's just about it.
Oh, that's the special edition one, isn't it? That's what he was saying. He's got.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, send my best to everybody. But all right, again, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. And
definitely.
I'll call these gents. But you have a good evening, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, man. Talk to you later. See you guys. Peace.
Take care. Bye.
Good.
We're a legend. But I was talking to Shane behind the scenes last week about doing Robocop next time. Would you guys be up for doing that?
I think I can't do that one, but I'll be back for the one after, which you've told me.
Yes, I have.
And you need to stick to that because I've bloody paid for a costume.
We're doing the original Robocop, not the remake, right?
No, please.
The
torture session for everyone.
The original one, the original.
All right.
So we'll be doing that, and I'm hoping to do. Oh, thanks. Hey Ben, thanks for stopping by. Thank you so much. He's going to watch it on the replay, and I appreciate that, buddy. Ren's Talentilo says Vader scene was fire. He absolutely was. But we're doing Robocop next. So obviously with Shane recently getting the primo amazing, I'm not jealous at all, hot toy, which is just stunning. By the way, does that make noise? Because someone told me that it made sounds in the chair.
Yeah, he the chair has a light up feature, but then the sounds actually come from him, and there's a remote. They're strange batteries though, like they're not like the button cell batteries. And they're not like, triple A's running. If you imagine like what they look like, I don't know what the code is. If you imagine a AAA battery and you cut that in half again, it looks like it takes two of those. I just haven't put the batteries in. I will do because I want to see, because a little remote from it, which is kind of handy. Like because the batteries are a bit big, I'd probably consider leaving them in there for a while, like every now and then stream.
My mate Luke, I used to buy a lot of hot toys from. He had him before, and he said it makes noises and it lights up and everything. It sounds amazing. I'm really jealous. But obviously with the Robocop 3 being released soon. I thought it'd be good for us to kind of go back to the well and look at a classic. We're doing like Predator and all these kind of things. So we keep doing this regularly. If you guys are free, Al's up for doing next week as well for Robocop. So that'd be good. So that'd be great if you guys are around next week. I know you're not free, Ben. But yeah. So if Shane, you tell me what is coming up on your channel and I will get your banner up.
What do I have nothing coming up on my channel. I'm waiting for some releases.
Says that, then they'll drop like 5 videos over the weekend.
That's true. He does do that.
Yeah. No, nothing's coming up at the moment. I've been in contact with some of the guys from Collectors Weekly, the OFAC guys, to try and arrange some episodes of Visions. I know one of them's on the 29th, but that's Thursday week, I think. So I don't have anything scheduled at the moment. There's been contact with someone else, a girl called Marvelez. She has an account called Marvelez. I think she used to be able to stream with Justin. I'm not sure if she more just popped up on Instagram and she subbed and gave us a follow and just. So I suggested she come on. That'd be the first actual female I have on a channel as well, which is new. So it's good to get a bit more get representation. Obviously, where it's a male-dominated, seems to be a male-dominated. According to analytics, it's a male-dominated hobby.
I was like,
but it's great to 44. Yeah. So like there's nothing scheduled, but they're coming. So I'm basically scheduling episodes of Visions. So that's pretty much it.
Well, I really enjoyed the Zach interview you did, and I really like that he the Oxfather, I like that, and obviously you mentioned the 1/6 burnout, which seems to be quite common of late as well. That's kind of happening, so there's
a lot of burnout in the 6 Scale Scavengers episodes. Brian Fontaine was really straight up.
Yeah, Chris
and
Leddy, Brian both said it. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Chris and Brian anyway. And I think
Chris Leddy really went from over 100 figures down to 20.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And it's that is interesting.
I get anxiety just thinking about it now.
Yeah,
I know, right? So we've got Benjamin. What have you got coming up on your channel?
I don't know. I don't know. Andor. Well, yeah, I'm not going live. I'm not paying for StreamYard to go live to 2 people anymore. So I kind of don't know what I'm doing. I might bring back Good Morning Endor and do a kind of weekly, just like 5-minute recap of what I thought of the episodes, and throw in any other Star Wars news, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've got a very toxic relationship with YouTube. We argue quite a lot. She doesn't call me back. I've seen her sending pictures to other guys. So
thirsty pictures off.
I'm sort of playing hard to get at the moment, but we'll see. Yeah, hopefully I'll be doing some kind of Andor.
At least you have your helmet.
I have my helmet, yeah. But you could catch up with the Figure Fantasy show, which was
yes, I will,
first and last episode, but it's up there for people to watch. We basically talk about figures that we I had Cam on and Mario and Costa and stuff, and it was good fun. So yeah, check that out.
Well, I mean, it's not all about the people that are watching live. It's the people that watch afterwards. I mean, it's like there weren't that many people that were watching live when we watched the Top Gun Maverick Film Club, but over 500 people have watched that now, and it just shows you that
that's just rubbing salt in the.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I'm saying 2 weeks later.
Like that.
Sorry, 2 weeks later.
I will be though. If anyone is based in the north of the UK, I will be hosting this weekend at Huddersfield Comic Con. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, hosting some Q&As on stage. Christopher Ryan from The Young Ones, but kind of British comedy legend. I got Paul Davis, who actually played a Wookiee in Solo, so I'm gonna kind of talk to him about the Wookiee acting process. So, and some gladiators as well, Lightning, and Zodiac.
Jet's there.
Gladiators.
Is Jet there?
Jet, no, just Lightning and Zodiac. So I'm looking forward to. I'm kind of glad Jet's not there though, because my wife and her in the same room together would be weird for me. But yes, so I'm looking forward to
girlfriend and all that.
www.huddersfieldcomiccon.co.uk if you want a family day out up north. Should be good.
You know what?
Man, the young ones. You just gave me a serious blast from the past. That was some funny shit.
I'm looking for it. It's Mike, the actor who played Mike. So I'm going to talk to him about being the straight man, surrounded by the madness that went on in that show. So
that's brilliant. That's great. Well, looking forward to that. And if any time you want to do anything, mate, you just let me know. You give me a shout, and we'll do something together. We can talk movie news or news or whatever you want to do. Just give me a shout. We'll do it on mine if you need, or on yours, whatever.
Love it. Thanks.
Don't worry. Anytime. Cam, about you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you inviting me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I've been on like a little hiatus from YouTube for the past week. Literally, I missed one episode on Sunday, and I call that a hiatus. I'm not sure how that is. But
calling search party.
It's like, where is he? Is he all right?
He said he
got your face on milk cartons and everything.
That's it.
Blue milk cartons.
Yeah, there
Blue
you go.
milk. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'll be doing another episode of the new this week. If we get a release, or actually, I might just talk about that new tactical suit Batman from the Justice League Snyder cut. I haven't got a chance to talk about that yet. So I might drop a video for that this week. And there's one thing that we didn't talk about. Okay, we didn't get to talk about Lyra Urso. Okay, the first death in the whole entire movie.
Yes,
got to give her that credit. Okay, she started.
Yes,
she was
like
tumbleweed.
One
trend. All everybody died.
And two tubes, the coolest henchman in the galaxy. They're like twins, and they work for Saw Gerrera, like the coolest motherfuckers.
Oh yes, with that.
Basically, we could have done another hour of this, Rich. Easy.
Well, there's always a part 2 if you want.
Let's do this.
Strap yourself in.
Yeah, man.
Sorry,
No, it's okay, man. But thank you for having me, man. I just hit 250 of my subscribers. So
good man.
I'm on the way to 500, man. Slowly but surely.
That's amazing.
It's like an avalanche going downhill. It's like
it is. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It is hard work. The first 1,000 is
oh my god. Shout out to Shane.
That
guy,
absolutely.
he put out those videos and
hours in though. He put the hours in though. That's the thing.
That's all it is. It is the video content.
Yeah. I mean, consistency is 100% the key.
Yeah,
100%.
and again, I've been back to work, and the combination of that, and there's not a lot of the last few weeks. I'm fairly dry on the content now because of the way releases. Because think about over the summer, there's 3 exclusives in a day, and then next week there's some other 5 exclusives. So there's so much content, maybe for the next few weeks.
Well, hopefully so. For myself, what I'm doing with my channel, I'm obviously doing this regularly, hopefully to do once a week if everyone is going to be free. If not, I'll try and do solo, which I'll struggle if I do it on my own. So if anyone is around, I'd appreciate you guys coming along. I'd really much appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys anyway. So next Tuesday we're doing at 9 p.m. we're doing Robocop. So if everyone can watch that between now and then, that would be appreciated. And looking forward to watching that again, because I haven't seen it in 20 odd years. So it'll be amazing to see the brutality.
So traumatizing.
I only watched it for the first time very recently.
Really? Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
Were you not traumatized?
It was a lot more than I was expecting in certain parts. I was like, wow, they really committed to that mutilation.
Yes. They're going all in.
But I think they really commit.
They commit to that.
Oh,
they go all in.
I can see the bubbles moving on his face.
It's
But yeah. So we're doing that this time next week. So looking forward to that. I'll also be obviously appearing on Collectors Lounge International on Sunday, and in between that, I'm hoping to put out a video. Now, I've got my Mime Joker that I'm going to put out there, which I've got for my storage unit again. So I'm going to be putting that back in the display cabinet and having that displayed and doing a quick unboxing and video on that one. I've also got my huge, humongous 1/3 Batman Batcave Hush statue I need to put out there. So I need to do a little bit of work on that before I put out a video. But that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing regular movie news, little snippets here and there as well. So if everyone can subscribe to my channel, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who has watched this today. And thank you to my wonderful panel as always. And please like, please share, subscribe to this stream, and may the force be with you. Take care.
Punch it.